I don't know if you have
Here's the
YouTube.
change in
No.
We got, someone texted me and asked me if we're having a problem with YouTube.
Yes,
We are.
we are.
No problem with that.
There's nothing, I can't fix it now. We just gotta go. We're recording.
Margo, is the audio gonna be through YouTube? Or,
We're not sure. The PC has a battery problem and they're replacing it, but right now YouTube is just not responding. I do have the recorder on and I have the video on, but I can't guarantee because Google is totally frozen. There's not enough juice in it. I've got my report.
channel 43 is working now. Channel 43 is working?
She's saying it's working? Awesome.
Yeah.
We can't see it from here and I'm watching the PC.
We're on, but there's no sound yet on 43.
Yes. I'm recording because the PC keeps dying. Recording system, scene screen. Somebody said the scene.
Jared, I saw an amazing video.
With
I was walking Adobe on a walking path.
We're live. We are good.
5 or 6 coyotes.
Thanks.
Oh, we're live.
I can't do anything though because the screen is supposed to be recording. I make the screen smaller. So I'm just leaving it. But we are live. Good. Excellent. Anything else? Thanks. Bye. We're good. We are live. Would you? Oh. He wants to finish his story.
We're on. We're on.
Yes, we are on.
Yeah, they could hear my coyote story.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good.
Let's get out of here.
Maybe a few minutes.
Right, we're on finally. But we're on 43 only, right?
Oh, can you retell that coyote story?
Listen, the way things are going in the United States, you're gonna have to hear coyote stories, 'cause there are a lot of.
Yeah.
Fun, entertain us a little.
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you. We're up 5-0.
That's our, it's an aberration. All that matters is how the farmers are doing.
Wait a minute, this is his first time on the board as a grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandpa. Congratulations, Grandpa.
Thank you very much.
Little baby girl, what's her name?
Hallie Francis.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they're, I got 5 different families in Fairfield that all had grandsons. And I told them, you just keep your grubby grandsons with my granddaughter.
God's got a
It sure does. Taking the shot. She's only 7 pounds, but she's
Yeah, as far as a lot that she's talking about, even though.
Okay, and it's on YouTube now, including this part? Okay. Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay. We're here to open the meeting for August 19th. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Adjustments. We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve,
Hey.
have a roll call.
Mr. Moriano.
Here.
Mr. Honorata.
Here.
Mr. Metallo.
Here.
Mr. Baskinger.
Here.
Mr. Lapari.
here.
Mr. Carmignola.
Here.
Mr. Iania.
Here.
Mr. Ivarone.
Here.
Mr. Fiatarolo.
Here.
Chairman Travato.
Here. Also in attendance is Lou Rego, our attorney, Secretary Steve Burry, and transcriber Margot Biblin. And let it be known that adequate notice of the time and date for this meeting was posted in the fire in the lobby of the municipal building and delivered to the Star Ledger and the Progress. No case will be allowed to start its presentation after 11 p.m. I call for approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honorata, second. Mr. LaParry?
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Honorata.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivarone.
Yes.
Mr. Fiatarolo.
Yes.
Mr. Lapari.
Yes.
Chairman Travato.
Yes. We're going to go right to new business application 2025-9. Daniel Caniano. Daniel, please come. No, we're going to hold
We're
that
gonna hold off on that a little
memorialization.
bit, because we have another issue.
All right.
Okay, how are we on notice, Steve?
We're good.
Good, good. Sir, if you could raise your right hand, please. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, so help you God? State your name, spell your last name, please, for the record.
Yep, it's Daniel Caniano, last name is Caniano.
And you're the owner of the property and the applicant, correct? Okay.
So I'm going first with no experience. so
Yes.
Bear with me on this one a little bit. The property is 97 Beverly Road, which is block 9, lot 5. And I'm requesting consideration to go within the 35-foot minimum setback for front yards to construct 2 steps in front of the portico. I feel context is a little bit important in this, but I don't want to get too deep into history. I've been living in Fairfield since 2005, minus a short break when I lived in Wayne.
Daniel, can you turn your mic on?
I'm sorry.
So it's for the recording.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. 97 Beverly Road is the home that my wife grew up in. She was there from being a baby. Her father died in the home in 2005. Her mother died in the home in 2014. So there was a lot of history in the home, a lot of hard feelings in the home, but I always loved the home, and so did she. Shortly after her mother died, we got engaged. We moved to Wayne, lived at Packanack Lake for a few years, and she was ready to sell the home. She was getting ready to meet the photographer to take pictures for the listing, and she calls me and says, "Am I crazy?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely crazy. The home is beautiful. It's twice the size of the house we're living in now, and we just gave birth to our son." So I said, "You're absolutely crazy. Let's do it. Let's move into the house." She agreed. We had our basement ripped apart, so we had to finish up to list our house for sale. But nonetheless, we got in there in December of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. Our son was 6 months old. He's been living there basically his entire life, and now we have a 2-year-old daughter, Camille. So everything's for our kids right now. The one promise I made to her before she agreed to move in was that we'd renovate the house and make it to what she wants to be, to try to get rid of some of those feelings that she had about her parents being, passing the house. So with the cost of construction and materials, we got a little bit delayed, but now in spring of 2024, we got on track, got an architect, got the plans drawn up, not realizing that the 2 steps would cause an issue requiring a variance. Our architect was good about getting everything structural in the 30 or outside the 35 feet, but he was unaware the steps would be a problem. Originally, before we did the construction, we had a porch that was recessed in approximately 5 feet, so the steps were directly outside the front of the house. When we put the portico up, it's now 4-foot portico with the 2 feet of steps. The portico is right at the 35-foot mark, and the 2 steps bring it out to just under 2 feet of extension into that 35-foot setback. So our problem was we had to get 2 feet of elevation from ground level where the walkway from the driveway to the house is. We got a 2 feet elevation to get to the front door. Some of the considerations for this is we live on the corner of Beverly Road to Oakland Terrace. Therefore, we have 2 front yards. The northeast corner of the house currently is a pre-existing non-conforming. It's also within a 35-foot setback. Beverly Road, right where I am at the corner, does curve inward towards my residence on the east side. So if you look at my house on the left side, I'm 37.5 feet from the roadway. On the right side, I'm 40.9 feet from the roadway. So it's a difference of about 3.5 feet based on the curvature of the roadway and the way my house is situated on the property. We did attempt, once I was notified that we were not going to be conforming with the variance, I made attempts with my architect to try to figure out a solution that would not require me to go through all those extra steps of doing this tonight. Steps to the side of the portico, coming from the driveway, wouldn't be possible due to the cantilevered bump out that we have now. And then the basement the basement window with the window well. It'd be too close to the house to get a walkway to get on the side of it. Landscaping elevation on the walkway, we talked to a landscaper and the architect about just bringing the walkway up on an incline. They thought that with about 18 feet of length with 2 feet of height, that it would be a little bit too drastic of an incline. So they nixed that idea. I also thought about steps in the walkway going up. So there'd be probably more like 6-inch steps instead of 12-inch steps, but kind of going up gradually. My concern with that was the potential for being hazardous at night with limited lighting, and also for any kind of inclement weather like snow, where you wouldn't be able to see the steps and someone might get injured or fall. I also have, the 2 children that require help going up and down the stairs, and my daughter just in the past month has fallen down the stairs twice, despite our best efforts to keep her safe. So having the steps right at the end of the portico, I think would be the safest thing for us to do. We also consider a smaller portico, but 4 feet was basically where we could be without going all the way back to 2 to comply with the yard setback, and a 2-foot portico would provide no protection from any of the weather or anything that we were trying to do. I think something's worth mentioning is that the sidewalk to the portico would not come out any further than it already existing does. We're just going to go a little bit further left to encapsulate the entire staircase, but we're not going to move it forward, so it'd be the exact same length from the roadway. We also removed the deck on the Oakland Terrace side of our house, which was within the 35-foot setback, so we took that away. So now we're a little bit better conforming to the ordinance. And that's basically what I got for my presentation. Happy to answer questions.
So in your opinion, the location that you're proposing tonight is the best location on your property, in your view?
Correct. Yeah, as far as the safety goes, and just what I'm able to do as far as limited with the sides.
Is there any questions from the board for this applicant?
No, this is a relatively straightforward application. I mean, this is pretty de minimis, I think, things that are being looked for here. It looks like this is an improvement to the property, and you gave some very compelling reasons. So I would move that we approve the application. I would also, I don't think you're before us for the pre-existing variances, but they should be fine. So I would move to keep the existing variances in place and then move to grant new variances.
Wait, before we do that, procedurally, I think, does any member of the public?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Board members or members of the public that have any questions? If not, then the motion is back in play.
I think the key here is that this property is burdened with 2 front yards, and the variance sought is minimal. I don't think it's going to negatively impact air and light, so I would vote in favor of this application.
So we're set, that there's nobody from the audience?
No public to ask questions or comments? None? Okay.
We call for a second.
I think someone
Yeah,
seconded.
Marty second,
Marty second?
Jerry's made the
Steve?
motion.
Mr. Moriano,
Yes.
Mr. Honorata,
Yes.
Mr. Metallo,
Yes.
Mr. Baskinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lapari.
I'm going to vote yes, but I just want to also put on the record that the lot is odd shaped, the house is odd shaped in connection to where it sits on the lot, which causes a hardship also. I'd also like to put on the record that the applicant is taking away some pre-existing non-conforming issues, which improves that also. So
Good.
for those additional reasons, I'll vote yes.
Mr. Carmignola,
Yes.
Chairman Travato.
Yes, I'm voting yes, and also I appreciate your effort to minimize any of the variations that you add. So that would be a yes.
So, one.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Good luck.
I
Good
appreciate
luck to you
it.
and
For
your
the
family.
process, thank you so much. Do I need any paperwork from you guys before I leave?
No, there's nothing you need from us there.
No, we'll get a variance to, we'll have a written resolution for you at the next hearing. So-
It's a 30-day period where you wait, and then we'll vote on the resolution that he draws up. And technically, then you're really good then. And you'll get a copy of it.
Can't they all be like this?
You're gonna have to jump in on
You
it.
work.
Yeah, I
If
think
you
we're
want
gonna.
to, it's a little bit at your own risk, only because that 30-day period, if there's somebody who wanted to try to challenge our affirmative vote within the 30-day period before the resolution, they could. Don't see that happening, so.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good luck.
To this- this zoning-
Or call the zoning office.
I think we'll probably go, we should go, my suggestion, we could go to Nash G. We'll do his letter first. Yeah. When he comes in, we'll do the letter first. And the board is not to reconsider. Vote on then we memorialize the resolution.
He's got to come in and announce that the application's getting carried,
Let's see what he's gonna say.
because right now, he might be.
Gentlemen, could one of you fellas, waive in the attorney? John, thank you.
Feel free to jump in. I'll kind of say what we could make a move, because I should have, public comment. I completely forgot.
Not the public comment, but
You're on.
they made them. Yeah, we're still on, we're still rolling.
Yes.
All right, John, your choice, do you have anything to tell us on the last application tonight, for 81 Passaic Ave? And then we'll go to Ashty, or vice versa? How do you want to do this?
I think we should go to Ashty last,
Last, okay?
and I'm here representing Daniel Sirica. His application was submitted, we were heard the first night in June, I think 17th of '25. We had only 6 voting members that night, so we exercised our option to put this off. And that also gave us an opportunity to speak with board's professionals. And we've had some input that was very valuable. We've updated the plan. And we'd like the plan to be properly considered and comments made by your planner and your engineer before we proceed. We think that's a wise way to go. And if the board agrees, we would be okay with putting this down for your next available date and notifying the public through this meeting on the record of the new meeting date, so we will not have to do any further notice or advertisement.
Right. Just so the board's aware, I know we received revised plans, I don't think I ever got them. And some board members got them maybe today or yesterday, the revised plans. And there's still some open issues, so we thought we'd let John know and suggest that the board members and the consultants may want to have a bit more time to look at this and digest it. And there's also a fire report that needs to be considered also. What's the September date, Steve? If the board wants to do that, carry it.
September 16th.
6th?
16th.
16th. Whoa. September 16th. So you're asking to be carried to the 16th of September, no further notice required in this room. If you're gonna provide us with updated documents, John, please get them to everybody way ahead of time, so we don't have this issue again. And I don't know if we're bumping up against time requirements, but I'd like you to extend the time for a decision until at
Yes.
least, until we've had an opportunity to hear this and decide it.
Yes, you have our waiver.
Okay.
So if I could just say also, we should try and have answered and given to us everything that's open. This way we can hear it next time. That's what I'm
Agreed.
saying.
I'd like it to go very smoothly. We have a few things that still need to be addressed, and this
Fine.
extra time will make
Fine.
that possible.
Good decision, John.
My client's decision. Thank you.
Thank you,
and
John.
I thank the board.
Thank you.
It's a nice night, so maybe we'll get home a little earlier tonight.
Thank you.
why don't we swing right into, Ash G? Sure.
Sure. Yes. Okay, Marty, thank you.
I just want the board to know on September 16th, I will be out of the country, so I won't be here.
Hopefully you'll get back in. Depends on where he's going.
Let's not go down there.
Thank you, Marty.
Take care, Mark. Marty's gonna be our ambassador to Ukraine. So now I'm Ash G. I mean, I can lead him in.
There should be something substantial, new testimony that may have changed their minds, not necessarily the instruction condition. This isn't let's make a deal, you know? It's not, I've said that publicly to them. This is not let's make a deal. You make an application, you either make it or you don't, you either meet the statutory burden or you don't. So there's gotta be a damn good reason why the board would want to reconsider it. And it can't be because we didn't have a dialogue. So, but it's up to the board. Yeah. It's not us. You drive back to Pennsylvania. No. Okay, not yet. Okay, you still have. I still have the appointment. That's going to be gone. I've already signed off. Car insurance, everything, cars, Medicaid, Social Security. It's just a matter of time and more physically, you know, being. 20 minutes. 20 minutes drive to one. Son's been out there. My cousin was out there. I found it over there. And they're, it's called Long State. Yeah, that's.
You know,
I
right by
looked-
Indian Rock, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I looked in there. I'm right around there.
Yeah, so
We're in the hideout, which is on 590, so if you go down the road, what's the, Lackawack, not Lackawack, the main road off of 507, you come down to 590, you go up the right hideout.
Thank you for your patience.
Due to the circumstances,
It's an interesting road.
moving forward to the next application. Mr. Kayavia.
Good evening, I'm John Kiai on behalf of the applicant, Oshg LLC. Oshg LLC's property address is 103-105 Route 46 West in Fairfield. And we appeared here in June, on June 17th, 2025. There was 2 yes votes, motion second for approval, 5 no votes. On July 22nd, 2025, after reviewing everything with the engineer, the planner, and my client, we sent in a letter requesting reconsideration. I was given this date to come back, and I'd like to just read to you my remarks, if that's okay. So the narrative is as
John,
follows.
just let me advise the board as to the As John said, we heard this in June, June 17th. We denied the application. This was for the offices upstairs, car issues, automobile issues. And I drafted a resolution denying it to memorialize our decision. John has sent us a letter requesting that we reconsider the application. We don't get these frequently. The law regarding this issue, before John reads everything, is basically a board has the ability to reconsider a decision if information comes to them after the decision that is somewhat different, somewhat unique, it's important enough that if you knew it at the time of the original discussion, you might have changed your vote. And John has laid out some points here, and what you need to focus on is, as John goes through this, unless you said you've all read it, and John doesn't have to, that either yes, I hear things and see things here that will cause me possibly to revisit it, or none of this makes, it doesn't move me. It doesn't make me want to or feel like I should reopen it. It's either not important enough or it's something I knew. That's the criteria basically where we are.
And I might add that it's potentially more efficient for the board to do it this way. We would probably be coming back again. I appear before you this evening on behalf of the applicant for the limited purposes of respectfully requesting reconsideration of the board's prior decision denying our use variance application. I want to be clear at the onset, as your attorney just advised you, I'm not here tonight to re-argue the case or present new testimony. That's too premature. I am here to address only the threshold procedural question of whether the board will agree to reconsider its decision. The applicant has submitted a timely request for reconsideration. As the law provides, a Board of Adjustment retains the inherent authority to reconsider its own actions when it is demonstrated that the prior decision may have been based upon a misapprehension of fact, a misapplication of law, or other circumstance warranting a fresh review. At the moment, the public is entitled to rely on the board's action from the June meeting as a final action. The agenda this evening simply lists our request for reconsideration. There's been no re-notice to the public and no advertisement of any rehearing. Therefore, the only action that can appropriately be taken tonight is whether the board will grant reconsideration or return for a reconsideration application and schedule the matter for a future meeting. If the board grants that, the applicant will comply with all procedural requirements, including publishing and mailing new notice under the statute 40:55D-12, so that the public is fully informed of the new hearing date and has the opportunity to participate. At that subsequent hearing, the board may then consider the matter on its merits based upon the testimony and legal standards that govern a use variance application. Accordingly, this evening I respectfully request the board grant reconsideration of the prior denial and carry this application to the board's next available meeting date with the understanding that the proper notice will be provided. And I thank you for your consideration. And substantively, I think some of the things that are different, at the June meeting, we put on our case. We had a lot of testimony, and I felt the testimony came across from someone who had experience in the industry. There was a lot of discussion. I think maybe I lost track of whether or not this board was actually going to vote yes or no, especially when there were a lot of considerations put in that we were proposing to put into a resolution of approval that would lock up this applicant, so that way it would only resemble an office. And because an office is an approved use for that zone, because we're only going to have an office, and it would only be a licensed dealership for online by the piece of paper that it's the license. Anybody else looking at this would see that it's just an office. And therefore, under the Medici standard, under review of case law, if we're proposing for you an office and an office is put in your plan, I think that perhaps it became a question, if the board voted no, and I wasn't sure, perhaps it became a question of intensity. Maybe 7 offices with 7 separate dealers with 1 receptionist in the office was too much. Based on the way of the flow of the last meeting, I read the tea leaves wrong. I saw a lot of conditions being put in. It made sense to me that the board was in favor of this application, and there was never any dialogue about would the applicant be willing to do less offices. Well, I would like to reopen that as a potential way to bridge this application from denial to approval, making the property work better with less offices. It'd be less intense. And we may be able to put in some of the board's concerns by conditions of approval, and that those conditions of approval would be so strict that it would be satisfactory to a board member to assume that it would never morph into anything but an office. It would never somehow become tomorrow or 10 years into some one of those sort of like loud-looking properties with for sale signs and things waving in the air.
For council, didn't we do that? As a matter of fact, I voted in favor of your application and it was denied. But now here tonight, it appears to me that you have a very difficult hurdle to overcome. To try and say that there's something new to change, to grant you a consideration. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff you're telling me, or telling us rather, we heard a lot of that. That's not necessarily new. I think you have an awful big hill to overcome on this one, on reconsideration.
I respect that. We did not discuss doing less offices. We only discussed
Well, we
having
might
7.
have, but okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And I have another question for you. When you started to speak, I think you indicated, you said, going this route would be the more efficient route, which led me to me thinking, well, what would be the next route then? What are you thinking about? What's the other inefficient route?
We
What
have
is it?
2 courses of action. If we get a denial, we have to bring back a substantially different application under a new application, which would be a resurrection of all this work again. Your professionals review and the cost, so it's very efficient for an applicant to have a reconsideration, or we could choose to appeal to the Superior Court. Those are the 2 options. I'm not threatening litigation to this board. I have too much respect for
I
this
just
board.
wanted to know what you were thinking. That's fine. Okay.
But we would like an opportunity. The applicant has invested a lot of money in this application, and the fact that it will only be an office, and if we can assure you it'll only be an office, then I don't know why the board would care whether it was a doctor's office, a lawyer's office, or a person who does paperwork to sell a car. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
If you have any questions of Mr. Steck, he did come tonight.
Has the board had a chance to review John's letter of July 22nd?
Yes.
Where he, okay. And on the second page of that, he did list his views on maybe some differences or what the board might want to reconsider or not.
Well, first off, the question is whether or not we're rehearing the same application. And I want your opinion on that.
No, we're not hearing the application. We've heard it, we've denied it. What's in front of us now is looking at John's letter and considering what he said. Is there something in here, is there enough that he's now presenting that would jump out at us to say, I didn't think of that, or, it makes sense that we rehear it because things have been raised that, might alter my thinking on it. So we're not rehearing it now, we're considering whether to rehear it. Yeah,
And is
so-
that something that we would do in just an open
Oh,
discussion?
sure, I mean, our vice chair started off saying, you know, there's a hurdle there, and it's up to the board to say, I've read it, and yeah, it's changing my mind, or there's important stuff in here, or no, you know, we've heard it, and we considered it, and we don't want to hear it again. Now, if the applicant, if you won't reconsider it, the applicant can come back on a modified, a changed application, to avoid us invoking a doctrine with a Latin name. So they could come back with a modified application. If it's modified enough, we could hear it again. That was, I think, option two that came out. But what's in front of us now is, do we want to hear it again? Not tonight, because, or are we satisfied with what we have?
Yeah, based on that, you know, open it, if anybody would like to give input, I guess before we would call for reconsideration vote?
I think it's just a chat if need be, and then a vote on, do we reconsider or not? And if we do reconsider, we pick a date, and we don't proceed with the resolution that you have in front of you. If we say, no, we don't want to reconsider it, then we vote on the resolution. And if they want to come back, the board's open to something different, as it always is, so.
I just wanted to point out, if I may, that at the last application, after public notice, we didn't have any objectors at all. Looking at your planning report, I looked at it very closely after our last meeting, and even your own professional. That planning report was not a hard no at all. In fact, I think it acknowledges that an office is probably a use there that this board should and may consider. And so given those things, given those facts, that is another impetus for why I thought we should bring this back to reconsider. This is the first time I've asked you for reconsideration. I've been before you many times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Well, I'll open it up to members of the board for discussion. Does anybody have any
Mr.
input?
Chairman, I wasn't here for the meeting, but am I allowed to ask a general question?
You can ask questions, yeah. If you weren't here to hear it, probably you shouldn't vote,
No,
ultimately
not
vote,
voting.
but you can
Just
certainly
a
ask,
question as to
you can ask questions.
how many dealers were per office? Was it one dealer per office?
Yeah, there were 7 offices,
Yeah,
one per,
The
one,
reason why I ask is because you had said that if we have less offices, it'll be less than 10, but it's still 7.
Yeah.
So you made the analogy of a doctor, so that would be 7 offices, 7 doctors. So that's an intense use on a property versus one doctor with, 7 rooms.
No, you're actually right, Mr. Basker. The way this works is there's a receptionist that the dealers pay to be there, because under state law, this is regulated by motor vehicle.
let's not go back.
And under state law,
Let's not go, John.
there has to be a person there for the dealership. That's a state law. And
I'm not gonna,
to have 7 small offices that fit 1 desk and 2 chairs is what was proposed to surround it. And each one of those people, because they're entrepreneurs, they really don't have employees. They just work online, advertising cars from the auto auction across the street. This is
Right.
very close to the Manheim Auto Auction. So they would be there at across the street only to do paperwork. They work out of the auto auctions. That's kind of the testimony we had last time. And because they work out of the auction, they're almost never there. So therefore, they need to employ a receptionist so someone is there. And these guys are doing their sales through their computers. They're meeting people at the auction. And when they close a deal, then they arrange to do the paperwork back at the office, and that's it. And then the car doesn't even have to come there because it can go right from the auto auction home with the consumer. These are some of the points that I wasn't positive were driven home either, and I knew that there was a concern that potentially, and I was shocked by it because the vote I thought was going to be unanimous in favor of it, and then I heard no, 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 no. So I got surprised, and I think it's because it's a misconception. I grew up in this area. I live in North Cornwall, but I work in Fairfield right on Route 46. The way the Route 46 corridor is, it's beautiful, and it's thanks to you guys. You hold the line. And this should be a more beautified property. It's underutilized right now, and this man has vacancy on the top that's not being utilized, and he can't seem to get anybody to rent from him in office. So we found something that's really close to Manheim, and it's probably really good.
John, I'll restructure my, I don't want this to be a question and answer period. I more or less want input from the board as to whether or not they want to move forward. I don't want to.
Is it appropriate at this time that we leave the room? Because isn't this
No, I mean,
deliberation?
we're not-
I mean, you don't have to, but
No, I think
I'll-
you should hear. what
I'll make the direction to the board that it's more of a discussion amongst ourselves and not a question and answer period to come to a conclusion.
Yeah, there's nothing hiding.
Yes.
So one of the issues that I had with the application was gonna be 7 different dealers and a receptionist, and I believe we had a discussion about parking on site, and that each dealer office would be entitled to 5 parking spots, right? That totaled 35 parking spots. Probably never gonna have 35, Mr. LeBarry?
No, I don't think it was, I don't think it was
35.
35. I think it was two.
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 Two per,
Two
Per office or whatever.
per office.
I think Lenny should finish, but I just want to say that without having complete, you shouldn't talk in particulars about numbers and things that happened a month ago that you may not want. I think you can
Fair
talk
enough.
about feelings of what you
Absolutely.
felt from it.
So
without-
my concern was
Should be a shrink.
the number of vehicles that would be on site to be picked up. And Mr. Kiaya and his client had someone that was in the business for a long time and went on and on about how successful he is and how the business is evolving and it's becoming more and more popular. So my thought was, I'm not really comfortable with the pickup site for vehicles coming out of the auction, going there, paperwork being done, cars being left on site. Maybe there's an issue with the paperwork, maybe there's not, but there was the potential to have vehicles parked from the auction on the site, spread across 7 different dealers. That was my main concern for the application, not necessarily the office, but the movement of vehicles from the auction to the site itself. That's it.
So
Thank you, Mr. LeParry, for your insight.
based on that, it was more, we're just leaning towards, I don't want to rehash everything that was considered in that meeting. I guess basically at this point, the best scenario is to just call for a vote from the board for whether or not a reconsideration.
Yeah, Rich, before you do that, respectfully, I'd like to say a few things.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, my reasons for denial and what I see here on the list of Mr. Kiaya's solid attempt at asking for a second bite at the apple, I don't see anything in his list that, to me, warrants something new enough to rehear this. When I voted no because I thought the site, and I said it at the meeting, I thought the site plan was in rough shape. I didn't get a chance at that last meeting to give my reasons for denial, but I did say some of them during the meeting. The parking was insufficient to me when it came to the need for, the site plan was not a good site plan. It's a bad spot. You needed 11 spots for just the 2 restaurants in the front, never mind the rest. There's no sidewalks or walking around the back. So to me, and the traversing around the building, to me, it was a bad site plan. Someone else could say it was a good site plan. I didn't think. I thought it was dangerous, and I didn't think that parking was sufficient in the spots. Number 2, the stacked parking. We don't usually do stacked parking, and people talked about how it could be dangerous. They could be fight. There was skeptical testimony. It's not our fault, and John's a good attorney, but he had his expert testify there'd be no cars there. And then the owner came and said, well, they're gonna be changing some license plates and they're gonna be doing a couple of things, which means they were bringing cars. So I'm skeptical about the testimony. Okay, number four, I don't find the fact that they marketed this thing long enough and can't find anybody else to move in there. I'm seeing yoga places, dance studios. I see plenty of businesses moving upstairs from Sponzelli, a dance studio, which is worse than being in here. I just think that this owner decided this would be a profitable business. Maybe he marketed it a little bit, but there are plenty of other uses that could go in there. I also think that well, again, I don't want to talk about the site plan again, and then I take certain issue with part of John's letter where he says, unfortunately, the manner in which the vote occurred was immediately following the closing of testimony and remarks. The circumstances did not allow for any meaningful deliberation or opportunity for the applicant to offer revised conditions. Okay, I watched the tape again, and if you ever went to court, now that we're on YouTube, it's nice and clear, and YouTube could be on court. And John closed at 1 hour and 53 minutes. 11 minutes went by before the vote came. In that 11 minutes, John listed the conditions. Metallo asked a question about the secretary, who employs the secretary. Carmignola asked about who holds the licenses. The chairman asked for comments and discussion from the board. Again, Lou started explaining the application needed a 5-2 vote. Jerry made a motion. Lou wanted our conditions. John discussed if any conditions that would prevent people from having licenses wouldn't be allowed to be a condition if they couldn't get their licenses. So we talked about that. Carmignola asked about this, whether or not if someone else bought it, whether they could use it for a conventional used car lot or they would have to come back before us. Rich asked about the car being overnight and whether they could be there during the day but not overnight. That was 11 minutes. So I feel as though I feel as though there was plenty of time to punt or to stop and ask. If John read the thing wrong, then he read it wrong. He read the board wrong. That's a feel that everybody has to have all the time. And I'm sure he's read plenty of boards right on other times. I just think that I don't see something outstanding that is a aha moment or a Perry Mason moment that would say, yeah, you know what, this thing needs to be reconsidered again. I just don't see it. I thought the believability, again, with the testimony being contradictory, led me to worry about enforcement by anybody or anything that's going to be behind the building. So those are the reasons why I voted no, and these are the reasons why I feel as though that I think it was a valiant effort to come here tonight for his client because he cares about his clients. But I'll be voting against the reconsideration.
Thank you, Mr. LaPerry. Does anybody else have anything?
I really can't see anything that's jumping out to say this is gonna change. I really don't. You don't have enough parking if that whole building becomes retail. You have 7 different guys with 7 different licenses. Our zoning officer doesn't have the time to go in there and make sure these guys are all handling everything the right way. And then it becomes a used car lot and it's gonna run with the property. And no matter how you cut it, the way it's written in the law, you approve this, it's gonna be a used car lot. Was there is there a motion? Was there a motion?
No, there wasn't any motion. I would just like to add that,
Okay.
you know, as always, you know, you brought the case before us, and you are aware that this board takes every application serious and gives it its full attention and there was no misdirection or no diving into areas that, would have prevented us from coming up with a conclusion at that time. So I feel that we've given it our all on the first application, and I don't think there's anything in here that would cause us to hear it again. So,
Sure, do a motion. Motion
I'd like to call for a motion to reconsider.
Consider, yes is reconsider, no is to not reconsider.
I'd like to make a motion, a no motion to not reconsider.
Mr. Parry, call for a second.
Second.
So a yes is for the resolution to not consider, not reconsider, sorry.
Yes is a not reconsideration, right?
Yes.
Make sure you put that in the letter.
Yes is no. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why he's not here. Mr. Honorata,
Yes.
Mr. Metallo,
Yes.
Mr. Baskinger,
Abstain, I was not here for that.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Lepari,
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola,
Yes.
Mr. Iania,
Yes.
Mr. Ivorone,
Yes.
Mr. Fiatarola,
Yes.
Chairman Travato.
Yes.
Thanks for all the yeses, guys. It's nice to hear yes.
Oh, geez.
Oh, gosh.
Wait a minute, let me explain. The only other thing is the resolution.
Yeah, so now at this
Yes,
point,
so now go to the-
If you want to come back, we're here.
I'd like to go back through the calendar and ask for a memorialization of the resolution application 2025-4, Saji LLC, 103, 105, Route 46, Block 4801, Lot 11.
Make the motion to approve.
Mr. LaParry?
Just for the record, I did not see that resolution.
Okay, I have an extra copy. Usually the board secretary sends it out.
Could I have an opportunity to review it? We'll be here next month. It's a nice night.
You can look at it. I mean, there's nothing in there
I'd
that's.
write a letter with comments before it's voted on, but if you won't give me that time,
We can hold the resolution.
We can hold it.
thank you.
Why don't we hold it until the
For
September meeting?
a denial? Okay.
It's at
Yeah.
the knob, we're gonna hold it, John wants to take a look at it.
Yeah, he has the
I'm
right to
sorry,
do
John,
that.
that should have been
Not a problem.
sent to you.
Yeah, well,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good night, all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening.
So that'd be September 16th.
Okay.
Take care, chief.
Gary,
Thanks,
did
Gary.
you see the notification about a bear on North Ridge?
Make-
If you see it, say hello for me.
Taking it somewhere,
Yeah,
just hold the documents.
yeah. We're reasonable.
I mean, to pay the bills, except, and I want to make notation that there was,
Right here.
there was one bill on the request.
Probably should be planning board.
I believe it should be a planning board invoice. It's Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs, invoice number 114639. If we can hold that one and ask for a motion to pay the rest of the bills.
Move to pay the rest of the bills.
Honorata? Who was the second? Rich Mattel. Steve?
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Hold on.